contributor. So, willpower is something we need to work on and strengthen, and we certainly need it to succeed in the workplace.
Yeah, you know, we often think that willpower is something that you're just either born with or you're not born with. You either have it or not. But
I choose to ignore it.
Yeah, right, which is actually not a bad process. So if you're happy with what you're sort of doing, then ignoring willpower is actually good, and you'll follow your, you know, the urges of the moment, and that usually works fine.
Eat the Oreo cookie.
Right, exactly.
Eat the fourth column in the cookie.
You know, there's this diet where you eat one cookie in the morning, and then by the afternoon you've eaten like the entire box. But the question is, if you want to augment your willpower, if you want to improve your willpower, can you do it, right? I mean, are you just naturally born with a certain amount? And what the research has found is that willpower is a muscle, like any muscle. You can grow it and develop it. And so, but it's not fun to develop it, right?
Gee, thanks.
Well, because the way you develop it is by resisting your urges, right? You resist doing something. So let's say I'm talking too much in meetings or I'm getting feedback. By the way, this is the key to any kind of behavior change. So an organization, if there's anything in that category called sort of areas to improve or opportunities for development, or really they're all sort of labels for weakness. Anything that you know, your manager or you are deciding you want to improve on, the hardest thing is to manage your own behavior, manage the choices that you make. If you're getting feedback that you talk too much or too little, it's about changing that. And when you change that, you have to overcome some urge or some desire, right? I'm in a meeting, I don't really want to say anything. I have to overcome that in order to say something. Or I know that I talk too much, so I have to overcome my urge to add great value in order to then be quiet and let other people add their value. So to do that takes willpower, right? It takes some element of discipline. And you start by, this is a little counterintuitive, you start by feeling everything that you're feeling, right? Okay. What you think is, if I just stop feeling hungry, then I won't eat. If I stop feeling the urge to speak, then you know, maybe I'll change that behavior. And the reality is that it's feeling those things completely that allows you to not then do them. If you feel your hunger completely, you feel it, you feel the desire for that chocolate chip cookie, you feel...
Isn't that torturing yourself?
Well, you would think it's torturing yourself, but actually most of the pleasure is in the anticipation.
Okay.
Right? Most of the pleasure, I mean, you're only eating the cookie for a minute, but the 4 hours you were thinking about eating the cookie, that's really where the pleasure is. So in reality...
It's foreplay.
Exactly. So if we could foreplay, right, that's exactly right. No, you're precisely right. So it's all of the pleasure is before the, can I say this? The climax of the event that you're looking forward to.
Okay.
And so the key to extending your willpower is actually to enjoy the foreplay. That's it, to enjoy the anticipation. And if you enjoy the anticipation, what you might find is, in the end, you don't even need that cookie. Or in the end, you don't have to say the thing that you were waiting to say.
Because you didn't beat yourself up so much, you just went with it.
That's exactly right.
All right, that makes sense, but it does seem too simple.
Well, try it. I mean, it's hard to then resist and not eat the cookie, but it's worth trying.
Yeah, all right. All right. Any other advice for people who really need to use willpower to make some changes in their professional environment?
I would say that one of the things to do, which I talk about a lot, is to, one is to strengthen the willpower, but always to diminish your need for willpower. So if you could create an environment that makes it less likely that you're going to do the things that you don't want to do, you're better off. So, one way to avoid eating the cookie is to not have a ton of cookies in your house. If you don't have a lot of cookies, you've created an environment that makes it less likely you're going to eat one.
It always comes back to the cookie, doesn't it?
It always does somehow.
Peter Bregman, thank you so much.
My pleasure.